All right. How's it going? Oh, hey, Ace. How's it going? My day's pretty good. Um, Let me know if I need to adjust my mix or my mic, music levels, any of that junk. So, how's how's your day? I myself am kind of snowed in. Got, I don't know, 6 inches to a foot of snow, depending on where it is. So, staying home from work, got rid of the kids for a few hours, and just figured I'd pop on here quick and do some work. And um, debating on whether I keep working on this red super light here that I kind of started working on last night, or if I just take a quick half an hour to take apart this Tenz with the Viper stuff in it and just kind of do a quick tutorial on how it goes together and whatnot. So I think with them going for sale today, probably not a bad idea to do that really quick, and then there'll be a VOD out there. I can throw it on YouTube. I know that Kyle Ireland Tech is putting together a tutorial. I think he already even has it put together, but hey. It's been good so far. I got to still fine tune basically the left mouse button click. I basically just did the swap real quick. I haven't done any fine tuning, so right mouse button is fine. Left mouse button, I just kind of needed to do the same thing I needed to do to the one of your builds with I had to pull the tape off, and then on the first click it just kind of sticks because of the residue of the tape. So I need to go in there with some isopropyl alcohol and maybe a real fine needle file and just clean it up. Other than that, I also fine tune the side buttons a little bit, and they feel a lot better. So, but yeah, just take it apart real quick and kind of show how easy it is and straightforward it is. Yeah, I do like it so far. I haven't done a lot of in-game testing with it, but probably about an hour's worth. And it feels great. So here it is. Got the big heavy battery. And I'll eventually swap this battery out for a smaller one, even though there's 4K, and cut some magnesium out of it. I just wanted to get it up and running real quick. So oh yes, for the swapped one that you have coming on the way from Nacho. Well, I'll get into that real quick. It's really easy, especially with how they have it set up. It's awesome. So here, let me grab a fresh new base real quick because I got a couple of them. Cole, thanks for following. All right, so Ace, it just works just the same as the Starlights. As far as how you take it apart, how it goes together, all the general stuff is the same. So, and you've already been down that road, so that would be pretty familiar. And then here is a yeah, no, that's no worries, Ace. I mean, Nacho's got the stuff. He's you know, familiar enough with doing general mods and taking mice apart and doing battery swaps, and you know, so share some of the more detailed stuff or whatever he'll send to me. But you know, I got no qualms with you having him do the swap for you. No issues at all. So yeah, here's the base. Of course, I pick a blue one with a blue background, but this is just how it comes from Crafted Mice. So you got the post back here for your side buttons, and then obviously the post for the scroll wheel. And then this, they ship it with this to protect these kind of more delicate, more breakable parts of the base. And then also inside of it is your whole kit of junk that you need. So there's double-sided tape for remounting your battery, some aluminum tape for if you want a tape mod to fine-tune your clicks. I believe they also include this a little bit to you put some, like a little piece here and a little piece here to lock in the side buttons, because from a typical or on the normal Starlight base, there's a spot on the base that kind of sandwiches underneath these side buttons and locks them in. I haven't done anything and I haven't had any problems. And what I'm just going to do is once I have this weight reduced and battery swapped and completely fine-tuned and just done with it, I'm going to just use a couple dabs of hot glue there like you do on the regular PCB, and it'll just be locked in. So yeah, I don't need to grab the regular base, but right here there is just a little support piece that I'm pointing at that is missing, that I cut off and that you need to cut off for this mod. Otherwise it hits this post here for the scroll wheel. That's the only thing that you need to cut or change on the shell or anything. And even if you were to go back to the normal Starlight PCB, it won't affect anything. So it's just a little extra support piece that they have in there. And then for the side buttons, what I did is originally off the bat they were just a little bit mushy, and I had the front side button had a little bit of extra post travel, so it'd be hard to see. If you can see in there, I have a little piece of Teflon tape in there right there. I'm kind of pointing at it with my tip of my screwdriver. So that post in there that was just pointing at snugs in right on the back side of the side buttons here, and that's what supports it. So I just added that tape there to make it a tighter fit, and that took care of the little bit of mushiness that I was having. It made him feel a lot better. So Bump, thanks for following. Yeah, yep. So yeah, Ace, that's one thing to look at and do if you know, when you get yours back, if you're gonna open it up and do some of your own fine tuning. So that's what you can do on the side buttons if you don't like the way the side buttons feel. And then for the main clicks, basically they have all these shoes included. There's a small, medium, and a large, and then they're specific to the left or right side. So Marion, thanks for following. Fump, thanks for following. Excuse me. So let's see if I can get a good close up in the light. You can see the little plastic piece over the main switch there. That is one of these shoes here. And just mounts where that screw is. You put the PCB in place and then put the shoe over that mounting spot, and the screw goes through the shoe and the PCB into its mounting spot, which I'll show real quick eventually. And they're specific left to right. So the left one has this little channel in it right here, which is the front mounting spot for the side switches, the ribbon cable and the side switches. So they just lock in like that. And then they have a small, medium, and a large, like I said, on the shoe. So, and then I couldn't tell. This is what I don't know if the stuff that will be going out that's sold today will be labeled in any way. Mine aren't. And I think I either gave that to him as feedback or I meant to. I can't remember if I did. Yeah, well, the shoes are necessary because the plungers on the shell here just don't naturally line up with the switches as far as height. They're too tall. So the shoes are just like a 3D printed solution for a shim, rather than having 10-15 layers of tape in there, and that would be no good. So he came up with these shoes that are just plastic shims that go in between the switch and the plunger on the shell. And then they are 3 different sizes as far as the thickness. On this part right here, that's the actual shoe that goes in between the switch plunger and the shell plunger. So there's 3 different thicknesses. So you just choose the thin one, the medium one, or the thick one, depending on how the clicks feel. And that's how you can fine tune the clicks. And if you need further fine tuning, you can just use, a couple pieces of this aluminum tape that is provided. So this one measures basically 1.35 millimeters in thickness on the shoe. Now I'll grab another one here and show you. I think that 1.3 is the medium. Yeah, about 1.15 here. So, excuse me, that's the small. And then here is, 1.6 is the large or thick. So, excuse me. Depending on which mouse you're doing the swap in, which drop it is, you'll just have to use a different shoe and kind of dry fit it, test the shoes out, put it together, test the clicks, see how they feel. If they feel too loose, then take it apart, put a thicker shoe in. And the opposite, if it's too tight or you have a dead switch, then your shoe is too thick. So take it apart, put in a thinner shoe. Yeah, it's a really cool way of doing it. Simple for everybody. The only thing that I was kind of rambling and trying to get to is there's, you know, I got my calipers here, so I can figure out which one's which. But I would love to see him put some sort of a, like right here, just put like a S, an M, or an L, or some sort of labeling, just so that all the general customers that are just going to try and do this themselves know which one is which and don't need to go entirely off of feel if they don't have a calipers. But yep, that's kind of what I started with. And then actually, right off the bat, I think I did the small on the left click and the medium in the right click, because the Tenz, just straight from the factory, has a pretty significant difference in the right click versus the left click. And I just knew that before even going into it, because that's how every Tenz has been that I've seen. So then you got these two screws here included as well that you use on the front of the PCB. And there's that. I'll take this one apart real quick and just do like a real quick takedown of it, put it back together real quick, just so y'all can see how easy it is. And then, especially for you, Ace, if you don't like the way the clicks are when you get the mouse, you can know just straight away how easy it is to just swap those shoes out and get it a little bit more fine-tuned. Thanks, but no thanks, Bavo. I'm good. Oh, there's an ad. Yeah. I gotta figure out how to turn that stuff off. I thought I had it turned off, but I guess not. So I'm not sure what you missed during the ad, but I think I was just rambling. It's one thing I do a lot and I'm good at, is rambling. Cool. How's it going, bud? I'm just kind of quick taking this apart and just showing people how easy this is, and then there'll just also be another video out there on the internet somewhere of how easy this is. So, oh, appreciate it. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna briefly and generally go over this, because this is just, you know, pretty quick and easy. And then I'm gonna move on to a GPX build that I'm working on. But I just figured would be proper to just quick show this and how easy it is. Yeah, go for it, Ace. What's up? Oh my god. That's bad. I knew it was gonna be something like that, but Chronic, how's it going? Alright, so here's the base. Yeah. Tell me about it, Ace. Very familiar with it. It's a beautiful print, high quality print. You can ignore the front feet here. Um, they they come with these BTL dot skates, um, which was a pleasant surprise to me. I didn't know that they were gonna come with skates at all. I just swapped out the front skates for a little bit more stability. I've never really used dot skates myself, so it was kind of new experience for me. But so take your Viper PCB and just take it out of your Viper. I guess if I was gonna go in full in depth, I would pull my Viper out and show you how to tear it apart. But there's videos of how to do that out there. So just get your Viper out of your Viper, and then this back post here has got a little notch in it for this rear mounting spot of the Viper. So you just put that in, line it up, and then push it down. Everything lines up. It's locked in the back in this little notch, and pretty much all you need to do. And then you got your shoes, and like I already showed, you have 3 different sizes: a small, medium, and a large for both sides. The left click has this post in it and looks different from the other one, and that's for the side buttons. Yeah, I'm doing it live, Chronic. Sorry, I haven't looked up at chat in a minute or two. And cool, if you're still listening. I don't know if this is already thought of and been addressed, but for more of the normal clientele that are kind of doing this for their first time or want to tackle this on their own, seeing these shoes labeled with like there's an S and M and L, I think would be sweet. It wouldn't be too difficult for you guys to find a way to implement something like that. You know, I got my calipers here so I can figure out which one is which and that kind of stuff. But or just go off a feel. It's not the end of the world. I mean, you can just kind of test each ones and see how they feel, and you don't even care or know what they are. Just go off of how they feel. But so then you just the PCB is all in place, lined up over all the proper mounting holes. And before screwing the PCB down, you use the shoes in place, and they just pretty much fit like a glove. And there's a little hole, line up the holes. Yeah, no biggie, cool. I know that there's probably quite a bit of production that's already been done and won't be the easiest thing to implement, but I think it'd be helpful to kind of the general masses, basically. Oh man, I am so shaky. I had way too much coffee. Yeah, Chronic, I looked into that. I mean, I could show you right now. I honestly, I think it's possible, but I am not positive. I'll show you right now real quick. Hold on. I gotta grab the Finalmouse scroll wheel, but you'll definitely have to do some something to get it to work. No, Chronic, it's definitely not going to be easy. I'll show you right now why it's not going to be easy. So, pull the scroll wheel off. Here's the Viper PCB. Here's kind of a stripped down Tenz PCB. So see the hole in the middle right there where the scroll wheel goes. That's for clearance. And on the right, on the Viper, you have the USB-C port. So you can't even get the scroll wheel in there, let alone having clearances for it to scroll, and then having an extra 2 millimeters, I'd say, for clearance to be able to use mouse 3. So and then it's already a 13 millimeter encoder, I want to say. Yeah, it's complicated. Okay, so it's a 12 millimeter. A 12 millimeter encoder. So I have to look, but a 13 millimeter encoder is the tallest one I know of off the top of my head. But even if you went to a 13 millimeter encoder, that's not going to give you all the clearance you need. And then you need a bigger shoe for mouse 3 to raise up mouse 3. You need to make sure you don't have issues with the top shell. So yeah, it's definitely complicated. My other thought was possibly if there's a another scroll wheel out there that's not either scroll wheel that would fit directly, or at least with less messing around. Some of this crap away now. Y'all have seen that. Yeah, you could try risers. I use various different riser solutions, but when I'm doing that, I'm only working with a small difference, like less than a millimeter, even just kind of fine tuning stuff. I've never tried like a 3 millimeter riser or 5 millimeter riser or something, that tall and aggressive. So, and then a random point that I will point out now is with the battery. The Razer battery's got a different JST connection. I believe it's just a 1 millimeter socket is how it's labeled, or what they call it. And I also pretty darn sure that you need the monitoring wire, so you need all 3 wires. So it's not like the normal Finalmouse or Logitech or other mice. If you swap out the battery, you can just get rid of the white or yellow wire and only use the hot and cold, the positive and ground. But yep, Chronic, you got it. You already know where I'm going with that. So if you are going to do a battery swap to do your own kind of weight modding, you need all 3 wires and a 1 millimeter JST socket. So just kind of to throw that out there. And then, yeah, if you wanted to change out the silicone, it's really easy with the Viper. You can just peel it. I'm peeling it off right now. It's not glued or anything. So just, you know, pick out what color you want from Crafted Mice, and no glue to clean up or scrape away or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking into what other options there are for the scroll wheel too. Mostly if there's plenty of clearance. I'm looking at it right now. I'll take it out again and show you with the. Oh, you're gonna be able to see that. So there, if I can hold it right, you can see that clearance between the scroll wheel and the USB-C. So I'm just curious if there's a scroll wheel that's just a little bit larger than the regular Razer one, but it would still fit in here and still have clearance. So yeah, here I'll measure it for you. You can, I mean, when you have them in your hand side by side, it's pretty darn obvious. Oh, here's the Finalmouse. There's, yes, just holding it like that. Kind of hard to see, but here I'll measure them too as well. So got basically 22 mils. Excuse me. And on the Finalmouse, we've got basically 25 mils. So a 3 mil difference in total circumference. Yeah, 3 mils, doesn't sound like a lot in general, but when dealing with stuff like this, it's a pretty good difference. I'll look into what kind of clearance you have with the top shell here in a second after I get this put back together real quick. So yeah, just screw it in just like I just did there. You want it screwed in nice and firmly, but if you over tighten it, it's still fine. I had one of the first ones I did. I had it so tight that the shoe was already deadening the switch, and then I just loosened that screw out. So just basically, if you're doing this on your own, just go like this real quick and make sure that that shoe is not deaden out the switch before you put the whole shell and put everything back together and have to take it apart to figure out what's going on. It's kind of make sure everything's all good before you get too far along. Here, I'll double check real quick. I think I'm on a small on the left mouse button and a medium on the right. So yeah, the 1.35 on the right, and I'm almost positive it's the small. And I also removed the tape that's right here from the factory. Because even with the small and the tape here from the factory, it was pretty darn tight. I still need to clean up the residue from that tape. I haven't done that yet, or the fine tuning. So basically from the tape residue, the button kind of sticks to that residue right now because I haven't cleaned it out yet. Yep. All the Tenz that I've seen and worked with have been fairly consistent, where they have that left mouse button taped and tensioned so tight from the factory, and then nothing on the right mouse button. So left versus right just feels miles different on just a factory Tenz, or at least any one that I've seen. So that's tightened down. Switch ain't dead. Just throw the battery back in. I'm still using old tape, but like I already showed, there's some double-sided tape in here if you want or need a fresh layer of tape. Just peel off the old tape if you're doing that. Get it all cleaned up. I'm going to be taking this thing apart at least one more time, so I don't really care that battery is not completely locked in yet for me. And then the side buttons, getting them in the grooves. So there is this little channel up front here, and you can't see it because I'm using all black, but there's a channel in the front shoe, so just get it started in that channel, and then the back slipped into the goal posts on that back post. Make sure it's like push forward, push down, and that's it. That's all good. Yeah, I'll do the button cleanup later, but like I showed earlier, there's this one post right here that you need to cut away. It's the only thing you need to modify, so use side cutters, something to cut that out of the way and clean that up. And get your side buttons in. I'm not going to secure mine yet because I know I'm going to take this mouse apart again at some point, but either use a little bit of that aluminum tape to tape right here and here, or I have a glue gun, hot glue gun. So what I plan to do myself once I'm completely done and all fine tuned and know I'm not going to take this thing apart again is just a couple dabs of some hot glue there. back together, starting with the front, getting the front clips lined up. Which is a little tricky on mine, kind of tight tolerances, but better than it being too loose and not fitting. And Crafted told me that they loosen that fit up a little bit on those front clips, or I guess you would call it the retail batches. But yeah, just make sure everything's all locked in. And what I would do if I was doing this for the first time on myself is just hold the base together nice and tight at the back, and then come up here and test your clicks. So if you can hear something going on with that click, that's what I was already talking about. I need to clean up some of the tape residue still, and then that'll be fine and fine-tuned, beautiful. And then side buttons working great. You guys probably can't hear them, but then once you are all good, just screw it together. If you need to put a different shoe in, just take it back apart, take those screws out, try a different size shoe until you get it all sorted out and fine-tuned for yourself. Yeah, I said that earlier in, when I first started. That's kind of one of the first things I pointed out. I said, yeah, cutting that little support thing does not affect the mouse at all. And even if you, like, if you're getting this kit for yourself and you plan on kind of swapping back and forth between this 4K setup and then swapping back to having, you know, a stock Viper and a stock Starlight, it's not going to hurt it at all if you go back to the Finalmouse PCB and just like stock form. So but there you go. And that is pretty much how easy it is and straightforward it is. I obviously didn't show taking apart the Viper to get the PCB out of the Viper, but like I said, there's videos out there of how to do that. And then Kyle Ireland Tech is going to have a tutorial video, I believe. If he doesn't already have it on YouTube or whatever platform he's on or using, I think it'll be today or soon. And I'm sure his will have a lot more detail. There's also a Google Doc, you know, written up, so you can just read through it, go about it that way.